As Disney continues to expand the Star Wars universe, it might need to delve deep into the lore to introduce some new characters and storylines. Even if the expanded universe has been long removed from canon, it wouldn't hurt to bring a few from the Legends continuity back onto the main stage. And so, just to give Disney a few ideas, here are 10 Legends characters that should return to canon. Starting off with number 10, Darth Malak. Ask anyone who's played Knights of the Old Republic and they'll tell you it's one of the greatest Star Wars video games ever made. And while a lot of the credit goes to the engaging storyline and the Jedi Knight Rayvan, Darth Malak takes some of the spotlight as well, if not most. Yes, we're talking about the big bad of the galaxy during the Star Wars Old Republic era. He was the main villain in the video game, and while some may argue this character is a bit one-dimensional, his chemistry with Rayvan alone makes him a good addition to any of the Old Republic-based stories. Not to mention that design. Malak has already proven to be an interesting character in the Legends, so it won't really hurt to make him canon. Next up, we have number 9, Lumaya. When you're making a list of underrated characters in the Legends who just don't get enough recognition, make sure you put Lumaya at the very top. The Dark Lady of the Sith with her light whip could very well make for an interesting character in the Star Wars canon. She's been integral to the Skywalker story while also having an interesting story about her. It almost seems like a missed opportunity for the writers to not bring her story to canon. Of course, she's a character who might be hard to translate, but get her the right storyteller and you've got yourself a killer story. Besides, we need more variety when it comes to lightsaber weapons, and with the cybernetically enhanced Dark Lady of the Sith wielding a light whip, we get exactly that. Lumaya does have some appearances in the canon at the moment, but they're not really a continuation of her brilliant Legends storyline. Here's to hoping they change that in our lifetime at least. Coming in at number 8, we have Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn is the one man who's managed to win all of our hearts as the protagonist of the Jedi Knight series. Some diehard fans even think the writers should be punished for keeping this all-around fascinating character away from the world of canon. However, even with his stellar storyline, there's little hope Katarn would ever be introduced as a student or ally of Luke Skywalker. But if a skilled story team were to look his way, who knows? Kyle might just make an appearance in the post-sequel trilogy story. Moving on to number 7, we have HK-47. With characters like Malak, there's an era problem. They're confined to the time long before Skywalker's, but if you take the character like HK-47, you can forget the constraints of eras. HK-47's hilarious and murderous ways will fit anywhere. He's a humanoid, more adult version of Chopper from Rebels, and even though we know him from KOTOR as one of the best companions, there are a good number of fans who would appreciate this meatbag-hating personality in any of the eras. HK-47's memory core can only be restored when he reunites with his Sith creator, and so he's got that aura of mystery going that really gets fans hooked. Just give him a talented voice actor and voila, you've got yourself an iconic character. His passion for death and destruction may need to be watered down, but other than that, we're cool. Up next at number 6, we have Nomi Sunrider. Now here's a character that most definitely needs to return to canon. How many people do you know in the Star Wars lore who's balancing motherhood all the while learning the ways of the Force? After her husband is murdered, Nomi Sunrider takes justice into her own hands, murdering his attackers with his lightsaber. The incident leaves her traumatized, which is why going forward she abandons all kinds of lightsaber combat and shifts her focus to the Force. With her daughter right by her side, Nomi seeks out the Jedi and ends up fighting right alongside the one and only Jedi, Ulic Qel-Droma. She goes from being a widowed mother to the most powerful Jedi ever. For example, Nomi was the one to put an end to the Qel-Droma's rampage when he strayed away from the Force. Now try telling us with a straight face you don't want a badass character like her to make a comeback. Nomi's highly underrated, with all those overpowered Sith Lords getting more attention than her when we have the real skill right here. We think it's about time the writers bring this brilliance into the canon. Now let's take a look at number 5, Ulic Qel-Droma. On that note, why shy away from bringing Ulic Qel-Droma into the world of canon? If you remember the days of the Old Republic, the Jedi Knight made his way into a Sith cult just so he could take it down from within. This is when his dear friends start worrying his turn to the dark side might just become a little too real, and what do you know? Their worst fears come true as Ulic ends up joining Exar Kun. Taking his place as the Sith apprentice, Ulic ends up launching the Great Sith War, killing his own brother in the process. In the end, he does end up helping the Jedi as he leads them to Exar Kun's secret temple. It's like the story of Kylo Ren but with different circumstances. Honestly, not bringing Ulic back into canon canon is a missed opportunity. Isn't it about time we have a story about a Jedi who turns to the dark side for the briefest of moments? Now let's take a look at number 4, Prince Caesar, the underlord of the criminal Black Sun, the fallen prince of House Cizeron. If you want a Lex Luthor type villain to spice up stuff in the world of canon, then Prince Caesar is your guy. In Legends, the prince turned crime lord goes up directly against Darth Vader as he blames him for his family's tragic death. Prince Caesar disguises his quest for revenge as a campaign for Emperor's favor, and so retreated to some political sabotage and nefarious criminal activities. He may be an Imperial ally, but don't let that loyalty fool you. At the end of the day, Caesar is only concerned with his personal agenda. He makes use of his Phalian pheromones to turn those who he can't blackmail, making him a threat to everyone. With his antics, Prince Caesar could definitely be the best final boss for a Star Wars crime drama. Coming up at number 3, we have Lobaka. Other than Chewbacca, we don't really have any prominent Wookiees in the present-day Star Wars canon, and it's high time we change that. You can never have too many Wookiees now, can you? The lightsaber-wielding Wookiee will make for a fabulous addition to canon. Lobaka was the nephew of Chewbacca, who had a prominent role in the Young Jedi Knights book series. He trained under Luke Skywalker and was a dear friend of Han and Leia's children, Jaina and Jacen Solo, so he'd pretty much fit right in. Up next at number 2, Dash Rendar. With Han Solo dead, someone needs to step up and be the franchise designated smuggler. Well, this is where your guy Dash Rendar comes in. Dash's character was in fact developed for this very purpose, to fill the void left by the Captain Solo cadet. In fact, in the Shadows of the Empire, Dash's main purpose was to fill in for Solo as he lay frozen in carbonite. From his Corellina upbringing to his YT-class light freighter, Dash shares a lot with the classic scoundrel. Not to mention, Rendar has ties with Prince Caesar, so really it's a 2-for-1 deal. Rendar is a rebel ally who provided his services in the Battle of Hoth and who was also important in the acquisition of the second Death Star plans. Dash does have some differences compared to Solo at the end of the day. Just take his strict sense of professionalism. Not like we can ever expect something like that from Han, of all people. All in all, he should make for an interesting addition to the current world of Star Wars. Finally at number 1, Galen Marek. Do we really need to make a case for the secret apprentice to the one and only Darth Vader? Why the writers aren't already jumping on this bandwagon is beyond us. Making his debut in the Force Unleashed video game, Galen might have started off as an apprentice, but after having faced too many of his mentor's betrayals, Marek decided it was best to pack his bags. All in all, he's got a rich backstory that would fit perfectly in today's canon. That's a wrap for this video. Which of these Legends characters do you think should return to canon? Got any others you think need to be talked about? Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to leave us a like on this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Bye now.